everybody, welcome to the Successful Showgirl. Today we're talking about passive income for performers. So if you don't know me, my name is Kitty. I'm a professional burlesque and circus performer, but I also run the Successful Showgirl and I run some other dance related businesses. Most of them are passive income style businesses. So I now teach other performers how to create a side hustle that can complement their performing. Basically, my side hustles over the past that I've started over the past 5 years have helped me to slow down a little bit as a performer, take time off and become a mum. They helped me through COVID, and now I'm really passionate about helping other people to gain that financial and time freedom so that you can focus more on doing your performing because you love it, and performing and taking jobs that you love rather than just taking any old job because you have to, because you need it to pay the bills. So that's why I'm really keen on teaching you all a little bit about passive income. So over the next week, I'm going to do one live a day where you can get like the basic idea of how you could set up your own passive income side hustle from your already existing skills. So I teach people to do this from skills they already have. You guys are going to have great skill sets as performers. You're going to be able to teach certain things. You're going to know about all kinds of different stuff. In my passive income cohorts, I've had people who not only have been dance teachers or burlesque teachers or circus instructors or pole instructors. I've also had people in there who have been people who are really good at sewing, people who, had someone who was a dog trainer. I've had multiple people who work also in diversity and inclusivity, as well as working as a performer. I've helped loads of people do loads of different things, taking their existing skills that they have from performing or from a second job and turning them into a course or a membership or something that they can sell on repeat. Okay, so my story is that I have been a dance teacher for the past 25 years. I've always been self-employed. I have also been a professional performer for the past 10 years. But when COVID hit in 2020, both of those businesses that I had, both my performing business and my dance teaching business, both had to close. So I had zero income at all, which obviously was, for me, somebody who I really value independence and being able to do things for myself. So that for me was like a real panic, especially as a self-employed person, because the first 3 months of COVID, we didn't receive any money at all. We had to wait to receive our slice payments until 3 months into the pandemic. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many performers that have got 3 months worth of savings that could cover all their bills with no income coming in. I don't know many people that can do that, and I certainly couldn't. So I had to think very, very quickly about what I was going to do. So firstly, all my kids, I ran a kids circus school at the time, so all my kids circus classes went online. Okay, so that was our first thing that we did. I didn't know what the fuck Zoom was when COVID hit at all. I didn't know about Zoom. I didn't really know about anything to do with the online business space. I'd never even done a live on Facebook. I didn't even really know how to use Instagram other than taking a pretty picture of me backstage and uploading it. Like, that was literally my level of understanding any kind of online business space. I just had no knowledge of it at all. That's not how I'd run my business. I'd run a brick and mortar business for like 25 years, so I just didn't really have a clue. So it was a massive learning curve for me. I had to like completely change my business structure, and in doing so, what I learned over that time was that the way the world is changing, it's really, really important to have some kind of backup for your business. So for me, I'd always been a dance teacher, but once that happened in COVID, I was like, I can't do this ever again. Like, I can't ever be in this position where if everything shuts down again, I've got no form of income. So I was like, I need to have some kind of stable online business that I can do at any point. And so I started the Successful Showgirl, and the Successful Showgirl kind of wasn't really meant to be a business at first. It was just a means of me getting through COVID without going mad, where I would just come live every day and I would give tutorials to new performers, basically just because I didn't have anything to do. New performers were panicking. I was like isolated at home and I needed an outlet, and that's why I started doing it. It was never ever designed to be a business, but over time, the more I learned about setting up online businesses and the more people wanted to learn from me and understand about the business, I realised that I could take my knowledge, put it into an online course, and either teach group courses where lots of people sign up and then I teach them live on Zoom, or I could pre-record those courses and people could buy them at any time, okay? And that's what we call an evergreen passive income. If you can buy it pre-recorded at any time, it's evergreen, okay? If you're doing one-to-one or one-to-many live via Zoom, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit less passive, isn't it? But it's still much more profitable than it is if you're teaching an in-person class or an in-person course, because you can only have so many people on an in-person course, but you can have unlimited people on a Zoom meeting or buying a pre-recorded course. So it makes it a lot more time efficient and a lot more financially viable as well. So they were the reasons that I started this whole journey. And then in 2022, I accidentally got pregnant. It was not planned. It was completely unexpected. It was just something that I never in my wildest dreams thought was going to actually happen, and it did. And at that point, I was like, right, this is it now. I've got to go all in on this online stuff. And the Successful Showgirl was already at that point doing really, really well. I'd already set up the conference, the Showgirl conference, so that is probably one of my biggest money makers every year. It's a one event at one weekend, and that brings in like a massive chunk of my revenue. But I was also selling courses. I also had a membership, and it was ticking over nicely. But I also had an in-person circus school still. I also had a studio that I paid for, and I also travelled all around the country performing and teaching circus workshops. So at this point when I got pregnant, I was not very well at all. Like, I really, really struggled in the first probably 3 months of being pregnant with like feeling so sick. And then when I stopped feeling sick, then I started suffering with sciatica and gallbladder pain. We thought I had gallstones, but my baby was just lying on my gallbladder, and I was in like loads of intense pain, so I couldn't do the normal jobs that I would do. I found it really, really difficult to be teaching kids acro and aerial and spotting kids and basically doing all the things that I would normally do. I just couldn't do whilst I was pregnant. And obviously that's not everybody's experience of pregnancy. Some people like breeze through it, but that was not my experience at all. So whilst I was in that time, whilst I was pregnant, I decided that I was going to set up a second business, and I was going to start training burlesque instructors online. So I was going to start teaching them online. The first ones I did were in person because I still could do a little bit then, but now I only do them online, and people pay me a subscription to be part of my membership where they get choreography from me every month and they get to use my branding and stuff like that. So that's one business. And I also did it for teaching circus skills. So people would still come to me to learn circus skills, but they still had an online vault where they could go in, they could like watch all the tutorials, they could learn all the business skills of how to set up a circus school, they could learn all the safety stuff and things like that. And again, they paid me a monthly recurring subscription to be part of that. They could leave any time, and I was fine with that, and I still run my businesses like that now. I don't do any tie-ins because I believe that if I'm offering a good service, people will want to stay. But that's what I did. I set both of those businesses up probably when I was about 3 months pregnant, and now they are my like full-time incomes. My Showgirl dance classes, which is my burlesque one, is probably one of my top earners, and I literally in that job just upload one choreography once a month, and I maybe do one training every 2 months, which is like a day. That's it. That's all I do in that business, okay? And that pays me like a recurring revenue every month that covers like a lot of my bills. Then I had my circus version of that as well, but I sold my circus version. So I made a lump sum off that circus school this year because I sold it to my like main competitor. They bought it off me and they now run it, okay? And I got a lump sum that I could use. And I've also got the Successful Showgirl. So this year, the Successful Showgirl has probably done at least 35k in revenue, if not more. And I'm telling you that so that you're getting an idea of the salary that I'm getting every year. Like 35k from just doing these live tutorials with you guys. I don't really do any one-to-one coaching anymore unless people are part of my programs. I do one membership call a week, which is basically 1 hour on Zoom with my membership people. And I do 1 hour where I'm running my 6-figure Showgirl course, and those people are entitled to one-to-one as well, once a month. So that is literally all I do. And then obviously my social media marketing. So probably do maximum 8 hours a week. If that, like that would be a really, really, really busy week for me within these businesses. So one business alone, 35k. One business I got a lump sum off this year, and the other business I don't really know what that one does. I don't check in with that as much. But my point is, for working 8 hours a week, that is the level of money that I've had coming in this year to sustain my lifestyle, which has been really good for me because now I get to be a stay-at-home mom. I get to work a couple of hours a week when my kids at nursery, but I really don't have those time constraints that you have with certain jobs or certain businesses. I don't have the pressure to take performing jobs that are far away or that I don't really want to do, but I have to take it because I have to. I don't have to be working every evening like I used to do at my dance school. Before COVID, I was working 60 hours a week, working like from 8 in the morning till 10 at night. One set of hours in primary school up until 5 o'clock, and then after 5 o'clock at my own studio. It was exhausting. Like, my life is completely different now, and that has all started from me just adding in a bit of a side hustle because I panicked in COVID that has grown into like multiple businesses. So I'm so passionate about teaching you guys this, not because I'm necessarily expecting you all to like grow these huge businesses, but what I am saying to you is it is possible. Like, I am not special. Like, I didn't know anything about any of this stuff when COVID hit. It was just, I shit myself and I was like, I have to do something here in case this ever happens again. And luckily for me, when it did happen again in a different way, I was covered. But I think this is so important as a performer because, one, if you get injured and you're out of work, if I get injured now, I've still got an income. My bills are still getting paid. 2, if I get sick, I've still got an income. My bills are still getting paid. People can still click on my Instagram and go to my stand store and buy my courses. They just can. All right. If you have a chronic illness and you're working and it's making you even more ill, like, there's a lot of people in my passive income courses and in my 6-figure Showgirl course who have chronic illnesses that can't travel the country doing as many gigs as possible, and they can't work a 9-to-5 job. So they've set up side hustles that bring them in a steady income that supplements the fact that they physically can't do more than X amount of hours a week because it makes them feel unwell. Okay, so these are all the reasons why I'm dead keen on passive income. All right, I'm basically just teaching you how to create an online side hustle that will support your performing financially. So I'm going to give you one task each day this week that you can use to start building up an idea of something that you could potentially do as a passive income stream. Okay, so today the task is going to be about thinking about what your niche could be if you did start an online business. Okay, so for me, when I started out, mine wasn't really meant to be an online business, but I started out thinking about, what do I love performing? What do I have an audience for? Well, people follow me because of performing. And I had a lot of I teach a lot as well. So I had a lot of people that followed me that were inexperienced performers. So I already knew that those people were people that I could inspire, and I could like teach, and I could give information to. And then I thought about like what kind of things piss me off as well. And at the time, what was really annoying me was in a lot of the groups and stuff during COVID, a lot of established performers were not being very nice to newer performers, and it was a really hostile environment if you were a new performer coming in at that time, because obviously professional performers had just lost their jobs at that time. So there was a lot of like debate about whether amateur performers should be taking professional performers' jobs, and how people should be going about it, and who should be doing this, and how you should be setting your fees, and what you should be setting them at. And it wasn't very productive. It was all very much telling people what they shouldn't be doing, but not helping people with what they should be doing. So that's why I originally set up Successful Showgirl. It wasn't called that at the time. It had a completely different name. But essentially, that's what it was. I kept seeing this and it was annoying me. And I was like, well, no one's helping these people. So I just set up this little group one day. I had 10 people in that group at the time. And I literally just did a live once a day, giving them a little bit of information on simple things you could do as a performer, like making sure you've got a performer name, making sure you've got a performer email. It was dead basic stuff. General fees for that at that time and stuff like that. Things that people just were not telling people, okay? So today I want you to have a little think about what could be your niche, what could be your thing that you could help someone with. Like, you don't have to be the world's best expert in something. I'm not the world's best expert in performing. Yes, I'm a performer, but that doesn't make me an expert. It just makes me someone with experience, and I've got more experience than someone who's just starting out as a performer. So therefore, I just pass on my experience to you guys, and then you guys take it with a pinch of salt if you want to, or you guys take it on board. Like, that is essentially all I've ever done within my business. I just pass my knowledge on, and people take it or they leave it, okay? So for you, you don't have to be the world's best sewing expert. You don't have to be the world's best dance teacher. But what you do have to be is somebody who just knows more than somebody else. Because the people that are buying your thing, the people that are buying my courses are not people who are in the top 50 burlesque list, are they? The people that are buying my courses are the people who have been to a few burlesque classes and would love to know how they can start getting paid for going on stage. Yeah, they're completely two different things, all right? So I don't have to be this huge, giant, world famous expert in performing for me to have a passive income on teaching people how to do that. I just have to know who my product is aimed at. So today's task is to think about, one, what things do you like doing? Okay, so not just talking about performing wise, but I'm talking about anything. Like, I really like cooking, so I could easily start a passive income stream from cooking because I'm good at it and I like it, okay? But I don't have an audience for it, yeah? My audience is all performance related, which is why I went down the route of a dance training company, a performer training company, and a circus training company, because they were people that already followed me. They were audiences that I already had, okay? But that doesn't mean that in the future I couldn't start a cooking one and then build an audience for it. But I'm going to suggest to you guys, if you're starting out creating a passive income stream, you want to be thinking about who already follows you. What are their interests in you already, all right? Because they're the people that we want to begin with. We don't want to be starting building that audience. If we've got an existing audience, they're the people we want to aim it at. So if you run dance classes, let's say, like burlesque classes or circus classes or pole classes, you already have an existing audience of, one, the people who follow you on social media, but two, the people who already come to your classes. So you might be thinking, how can I create something online that would benefit my existing customers, and two, the people that follow me online that perhaps can't come to an in-person class but can come to an online class because it's more convenient or it's pre-recorded so they can do it in their own time or whatever. So today you're doing a list of one, things you're good at, one, things you like doing, and then two, things you're good at. And then I want you to say where they overlap with people that already are in your existing audiences. I've had people who, like I said, I had someone who did a sewing one because they already, even though they're a performer, used to teach sewing. So back in the day, they used to teach sewing. That was their job. So they already had an audience of people who followed them for teaching sewing, and they have an audience of people who follow them for burlesque. So they combine the two and create a course for like sewing skills for burlesque performers. Yeah, so that hits both of those target audiences. So for today, I just want you to think about a list of things that you like doing and a list of things that you're good at, okay? And then tomorrow we're really going to think about how to decide what our audience would be. When you've done your lists, please, please, please pop them below. The more you engage with these posts, the more other people see them. And the whole point in this community is for us to help each other. So the more you interact with me, the more other people will see it and the more engagement I get, which is good for me because I'm giving these tutorials to you guys for free. So it would be really nice if you would repay me by engaging with them. And number two, it just helps the other people in the group to see them who might not be getting shown them by the Facebook algorithm. So if this has been helpful for you today, then please do some hearts, do some likes, comment below, let me know what your list of things you're good at is. And when I say good at, I don't mean expert at, I just mean decently good at, and things that you enjoy. And then tomorrow we're going to look at how we can find our audience and how we can niche down in one of those areas to make a choice on something that we could make into a passive income stream. Okay, right, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you all tomorrow. It will be at 10 o'clock tomorrow, okay, because I don't have my daughter on Tuesday morning. But I just want to point out that that is absolute proof of why I'm so passionate about passive income, because if I had a 9-to-5 job and this morning my kid was kicking off in the middle of the night and then was kicking off this morning and I was late for work, or I'd had to take her in kicking and screaming because I'd be late for work and my boss would kick off, it would have just been super stressful. But instead, because I've built a life that is time free and financially free, all I had to do was have a bit of chill time with her, take her in later, and then put a message in this group and say, sorry guys, I'm going to be an hour late. I'll see you all then. Yeah, that's like the freedom that I want you guys to build for yourselves, where you're not answerable to somebody else, or you're not answerable to somebody else's time constraints. You create your own and you have that freedom. All right, I felt like that was a perfect example this morning of what I'm trying to get across to you all. So I'll see you all tomorrow at 10. Thanks for joining me. Please share this video if you can do, and tag people you think it might be helpful to, and I'll see you all then.